Brian Wilson's false narrative, farce as Celtic trash Ibrox and play innocent. Max Lowe's warning, sack Danny Röhl and you'll regret. Sleeves rolled up Sunday, managerless Mirren ready to turn it into a nasty war at Smisa. Thalo, Asgard's second chance looms while Skav Olsen feels the heat in a jersey you earn, not rent. So here we go again. Another Celtic suit in a comfy seat, telling the country the seats smashed themselves, the toilets wrecked themselves, and the walls just decided to graffiti themselves for a laugh. Brian Wilson, their interim chairman, has come out with this pure comedy line about evidence and false narratives after the scenes at Ibrox. A false narrative? Aye, right. Let's be straight. Their lot were filmed wrecking the place before the match even kicked off. Chairs ripped up, restrooms trashed, abusive messages sprayed on the walls like they own the joint. Then full-time comes, and they're the first ones pushing onto the pitch like it's some sort of victory parade. And we're meant to nod along while their chairman calls it a euphoric response that happens all the time now. That's his defense. Everybody does it, so it's fine. That's where we're at. And don't miss the cheek of it. He says he welcomes an SFA inquiry, but only after trying to plant this idea that folk are making things up about his supporters. That's not leadership. That's damage control with a straight face. Now, Rangers have answered it properly. The clubs said the disorder was unacceptable, full stop, and they've called for a fully independent review. Not a wee internal chat and a couple of headlines. An actual review that looks at everything. Ticket allocations, decisions before the match, what happened during it, and exactly how it ended up with bodies on the pitch. And here's the bit that should boil your blood. Rangers said they were appalled to find graffiti inside the stadium mocking the Ibrox disaster. That's not rivalry. That's not banter. That's vile. 66 souls lost in January 1971. Families scarred forever, and some coward thinks that's fair game for a spray can. The clubs also made it clear, if anyone's identified and convicted, bans are coming. Tickets taken, shut out. And Rangers have said they'll cooperate with Police Scotland and the authorities, but they'll also defend our support and won't accept some lazy narrative that paints every bear as the problem while ignoring who started what. So here's the question. How many times do we let Celtic come to Ibrox, wreck the place, then stand there acting offended when folk point at the damage? Drop a like if you agree they're pathetic trying to defend it. If you see it differently, stick your thoughts in the comments. So now we've got Max Lowe, a lad who actually played under Danny Röhl, telling Rangers supporters straight, if you chase this manager out of Ibrox, you'll regret it. Not in a week. That's a shame way either. Proper regret. The kind that lingers when you're watching him doing a job down in the Prem while we're back to square one, pretending the next guy will magically fix years of rot. This is what Lowe's saying. Stick by him. Because every player who's worked with Röhl, Wednesday, Bayern Connections, the lot, says the same thing. He's top class. And if he leaves Rangers, he's not falling down the ladder. He's going up. Premier League or a serious top division in Europe, that's the warning. And let's be honest, the timing of it tells you everything. Röhl's taken heat after the Cup quarter-final defeat to Celtic on penalties, and folk piling on because of the Derby drop points the week before. That's Rangers support for you, and I get it. We're not here for projects and PowerPoint. We're Rangers. You win, or you get it in the neck. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When Röhl walked in, the place was a mess. We'd had a brutal start to the league under Russell Martin, and nobody expected us to even sniff a title push again, never mind be back in contention. That doesn't happen by accident. Now Röhl doesn't help himself at times. He's raised expectations, then the team's not meeting them. Fans see a window where we've been backed in January and still we're not controlling games the way Rangers should. That wins folk up, especially the older bears who remember what domination actually looked like at Ibrox. But tell me this, are we really going to do the classic Ibrox thing? Panic after a couple of big disappointments, sack a manager with a proper coaching pedigree, and then act stunned when we're back in the same loop again? Because if Lowe's right, and I think he is, the minute Röhl walks out that door, he's not sitting unemployed. He'll be gone, and we'll be the mugs left shouting at the next rebuild. So what's it going to be? Patience with standards or another self-inflicted reset? This is the kind of Sunday that catches Rangers out if you stroll into it thinking it'll play itself. Away to St. Mirren, manager just binned crowd up for a scrap, and the pitch at that Smisa place always feels tight and ugly. You can hear it now. They're managerless. We should steamroll them. Aye, and that's exactly when you end up in a dogfight with mud on your socks. Derek Ferguson's nailed it. Roll your sleeves up. Win the battle first. Because St. Mirren will come out nasty, organized, desperate to prove a point after Stephen Robinson gets sacked, and you always get that reaction from teams. They'll fly into tackles, waste time, make it grim, and try to drag Rangers into a street brawl. If our mentality isn't right, we're in trouble. And don't kid yourself, we're not exactly rolling in momentum. No wins in 4, the noise around Röhl is getting louder, and we're sitting third, 6 points off Hearts. 9 league games left. That means every dropped point is basically a self-inflicted wound. So this is where the manager earns his money. Keep the heads, keep it simple when it needs to be simple, match their aggression, but don't lose discipline. Because if Rangers go down there feeling sorry for ourselves after last weekend, St. Mirren will smell it. Now there's another wee wrinkle here. Thalo Osgaard. Big signing, decent numbers this season, then he's basically been put in the fridge. 21 minutes over the last 5 games. But he's 23, and maybe Röhl's taken him out the firing line on purpose, let him settle, let him watch, then chuck him back in when it matters. And if you're looking for a spot to shake things up, Skov Olsen's name is right there. He's not delivered what he was brought in for. Not yet. Bring Osgaard back in with a point to prove, and suddenly you've got competition again. That's how Rangers should be. Nobody gets a jersey on reputation. Win on Sunday, and it sets the table for a proper run with 2 at Ibrox after it. Lose, and you can start writing eulogies for the title chase. So what's it going to be? Do we turn up and do the ugly work, or do we let another unexpected battle bully us off the park? Ali McCoist has just put it out there, loud and clear. Ollie Mcburnie cannot be ignored by Scotland anymore, not with the numbers he's putting up. 13 goals and 7 assists in the championship, and that's with a calf injury taking a chunk of his season away. That's not a purple patch. That's a striker carrying his weight properly. And you know what Coisty's really saying between the lines? Scotland don't have a conveyor belt of proper centre forwards. We've got lads who can do a job, aye, but we're not exactly drowning in killers. So if Mcburnie keeps batting the goals in, Steve Clark has to look at him. Has to. No vanity picks, no comfort blankets, just form and impact. But here's the bit that matters to Rangers men. Mcburnie's already said it himself. He grew up a Rangers fan, he's been to old firms, and he's talked about wanting to wear that shirt one day. He's even said there's always been chatter with Rangers, and that this was the first year he didn't hear anything. Timing, he calls it. Always timing. That's the difference, isn't it? Some boys talk about big clubs when the wages suit them. Mcburnie's talking about the old firm like it's a life ambition, something he wants to earn before he retires. And if he keeps firing like this, don't be shocked when that conversation comes back round to Ibrox again, because Rangers will always need a forward who can handle a scrap, take contact, and still stick it in the net when it matters. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow with more news just for you, mate.